Hello guys and welcome back to another episode. So you probably play Hunter and you're confused about how does pets actually work? What should you actually play? Should you be playing Ferocity, Tenacity, Cunning? What kind of pet specs should you actually use when you're playing a Hunter? And of course I know if you're playing Marksmanship Hunter, then you probably not play with pets. But if you play Survival or Beastmaster, well, you kind of play with pets and you have talents for your pets. So what should you actually use in what situation? So I will go through when should you use Cunning, when should you use Tenacity, when should you use Ferocity, for what purpose. So let's go first through one by one. So Ferocity is going to be your main pet in dungeons and raid. I mean, if you're going to play a mythic dungeon, a raid, a dungeon, then you will mainly use Ferocity. But keep in mind, Ferocity, Tenacity, Cunning deals all the same damage. There's no damage difference. They all deal the same damage. So get that in, same damage. The difference here is that Ferocity have primal rage. It's the same as Bloodlust from Mage and Shamans. So if you have a Shaman or a Mage in your group, it doesn't mean anything if you play Ferocity or Tenacity, because your Prime Rage will still, it's the same as the Shaman's a Mage. But if you don't have a Mage or Shaman, then everyone will love you if you have a Ferocity pet, because then you have a haste buff, you know, Bloodlust and Heroism, you know what I mean. So the only reason for why you should use Ferocity is only, and I mean only, if you don't have a Mage or a Shaman, then you play with Ferocity. Good, that's the only reason for using Ferocity. If you have a Mage or if you have a Shaman or both, then you would always play with Tenacity. So let me disable this pet. Embarrassing, I don't have the spell out. Super, and let's get my little bear out. Hello bear, I've called him Dvalin. So Tenacity is the pet you will use mainly for dungeons, raids, mythic dungeons, if you already have a Shaman or a Mage, because you have this one here. You and your pet gain, normally it's 5%, but I have a aspect of the beast as a Beastmaster, so it increased the effect. But you're increasing your health pool by 5%. That means the healer doesn't need to heal you for the additional 5%. That means you have additional life when getting attacked. That means you can survive an additional spell from a mob. 5% health is much to just have. So 5% is worth if you already have a Shaman or Mage, because then you don't need Primal Rage and you can just get your HP bonus. Also, instead of getting your Primal Rage, you will get a survival spell. So when I use the survival spell, all damage taken reduced by 20. So if I'm standing in some fire and I'm like, oh boom, I need to use something quick so I don't die, I have this spell here, Survival of the Fittest, and I have more HP passive because I play with Tenacity. So yes, Tenacity and Ferocity deals the same damage, but Ferocity has Primal Rage. That is good if you don't have a Shaman or Mage. I know that Ferocity also have Predator First that increase your Leech by 15, normal 10 if you're not playing Beastmaster. But Leech is not good, because Leech is helping you to get the life back that you have missed. But if you get, let's say, 100% damage, boom, then you're dead. What are you going to use Leech for then? But if you have Tenacity, you have 105 or 107% more health, and you can take more damage. And he will heal you. Don't worry about that, he will heal you. You don't have to heal yourself, but Tenacity is going to make so you can take more damage. So I know that you're not a tank, but okay, seriously, in a dungeon or raid, everyone is taking damage all the time. That's life. So Ferocity is only good if you don't have a Shaman or Mage. If you have a Shaman or Mage, use Tenacity all the time. All the time, if you don't have a Mage or Shaman. Cunning is only for PvP. I know some of you will say, but I like to have some movement speed in dungeons, or I like to have an extra kind of PP trinket in dungeon, but I don't understand why, because I would like to have more HP so I don't die. But Cunning is nice if... it's nice in PvP, because you can run faster than the warrior. If the warrior snares you, you can use a kind of PP trinket that has less than 1 minute cooldown to get out of his snare. It's not a stun, it's removing only snares or, you know, impairing effects. So Cunning is the perfect PvP pet, perfect PvP. But in PvE, nah, you don't really want that extra movement speed. Maybe if you're running around grinding or boosting someone in a dungeon, maybe. But for dungeons, default Tenacity. If you don't have a shaman or don't have a mage, you would go with Ferocity. So this is my guide on which pet you should use. For damaging and spells, it doesn't really matter which spell you which pet you have. It really doesn't matter which pet you have, because the only difference your pet has as spells will be spells like where do we have them? For example, here, let me show you here. If I disable this little fella, summon my Devil Saw. You can see here, this pet here has a spell that decreases the healing that the target will receive. Some of my pet also have a spell where it decreases the run speed on the enemy. So of course, if you're playing against, let's say, an arena double DPS combo, you maybe want them not to be running so fast. And if they have a healer, well, it will be pretty cool to have this pet here, because he can all the time stack mortal wounds that will decrease the healing he takes. But there's no damage difference or anything, it will be the same damage, because he has a bite for damaging, that's everything he has. If I disable this little fella here, disable, summon my snake, he has a bite, and he has this one here that increase defensive, so he will get 30% dodge. I mean, it's not increasing your damage at all, and I can keep on going. So that's how it is. Ferocity is the one you use in dungeon and raids if you don't have a shaman or mage. Tenacity you'll be using if you have a shaman or mage. Cunning, keep it in PvP. Boom, straight facts. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little pet guide. If you are having anything you would say that, well, I'm wrong, anything you have something to say, I'm wrong, or anything else, well, leave down a comment and tell me what I have misinformed, because I'm pretty sure I have said all the right things. So yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and have a great evening.